Okay. I need like a microphone or something. What is this? Well, this is still day 7. This is a preemptive video, so I don't forget, because I'm probably gonna a little bit forget in the morning, but I think that's part of the surprise. And it's also, I just wanted to know, found a really good YouTube video about this TikTok creator who is challenging people in like cinema. I'll put it like right here. And their channel is called Camp Studios. And their aspect ratio is crazy. I really enjoy that because it was just so absurd when watching the video. So I want to sort of almost pay homage to it. And it's also the 21:9 aspect ratio. I could be wrong by the aspect ratio, so I'll put it right here. And hopefully it's something, I just experiment on, And the last thing I'll say is that the takeaway for these daily episodes is just knowing that, weirdly enough, if I find myself bored in a day, I want to make it enticing, make it fun for me to just do something, not just try to avoid assignments or work, but actually, like, if I'm not in the dumps, it's sort of like an easy outlet to be like, what can I do creatively, right? And I'll put like a clip of like the footage right here that's inspired me next, and just the impact it feels like when it comes to just watching a video or making videos, or it just inspired me. Again, I'm like, damn, I want that sort of filmmaking style.
No, it's just.
And I'll take that,
and no one's.
And then I want to make my own.
The emails aren't here yet, so.
That's just me.
I'm not thinking.
Hope you enjoyed this episode and the new, almost formatted style that I'm trying to go for, and also challenge myself in order to become
to wake up and enter this world.
Just better.
Sink into it.
I think there's a lot of things to just generally think about and not try to laugh about it. Today I went to my social media ethics class, and what I learned from that was the social dilemma. And I feel like I watched that in 2021, or in my community college era. And essentially, it's all about the idea of media consumption and how the recommended page of like YouTube is supposedly trying to find rabbit holes in your own system to keep you engaged. The whole idea that social media is supposed to keep you engaged and not give users the freedom to understand there's creativity behind it. There is not just this conglomerate corporations trying to keep you invested. And that right there, for however I said it, probably was wrong. But to me, I think when I listened to that before in community college, it resonated with me a lot. I remember I did an article about TikTok over the quantity over quality and the maximizing efforts of getting one's attention over the idea of living your life. That being said, that's what I went about learning again. And then I feel with the intense eerie music and tension, I'm like, oh, okay. Yeah. And how users' privacy is sort of this thing where it's a currency to people. It's an investment to control how we think and how we interpret things, or one friend or another, however even close, can have different types of feeds in different locations. Otherwise, I'm done with that. I'll probably summarize it later on, but what I want to talk about now is, how did I log in? Well, I went to school roughly around like at 9 a.m.-ish, and I found myself logging in by setting an alarm on my watch, and then I watched the recorded lecture of the lighting. I put my box reflective surface, and I put on my headphones. It's kind of interesting also that you get to just see like Shania there in the mornings. I think she logs in. She logs in like that. But the main thing I wanted to talk about is the idea that I think just at my apartment I don't have like a proper desk set up. I have a small table and I have my couch, which is fine. It is ultimately fine. But I think there's a weird culture mindset in which if I had a proper desk and a proper chair that I can recline and lean back, I think I would be more productive than sitting on a couch, which feels more comfortable in a way, and a lower desk. I might just sit on my rocking chair, if anything, because it's low enough to the ground. I just don't use it that often. If I used it more often than not, then I think I would have been more inclined to work more. And most notably, it's one of those things in life where the beginning, when I was looking at my phone a lot of the time, is very true. But I also, that was before when I realized that we're going to watch The Social Dilemma. It's a lot of these things where the type of filmmaking I am so drawn to is circumstantial filmmaking, where
I do one thing because I just feel it innately, and then somehow I learn something in college that is the same thing that weirdly just aligns with it, and it's not even planned at all. Just like me filming birds or whatnot, or me going about doing something. And it's not more so for show, it's more or less to represent how that day went and how the circumstances in those days just fit naturally. And I want to share that. I genuinely do. And I think also the biggest takeaway as well is just that idea that how content is supposed to gain you this dopamine effect. And it's like how you use that dopamine effect is crucial to every aspect of your life, is what I find fascinating. And I think you just have to always keep not just an open mind to it, but a critical mind to it. That what you do does matter, and how you think about it does matter. Opinions can change, but how you operate each day and utilize that information how you will, either if it's affecting you for the best or the worst, is crucial for your development in life. So use social media wisely and use it for the reasons not just to fill up time. Because I feel like I watched a video about how other countries are declining over the usage of just social media, but then the aspects of the US is still increasing. And that's fascinating to think about. Whether if that statistic is right or wrong, I'm just thinking about it that way. Okay, so my plan is I'm gonna work on my lighting, go to lighting class, make sure I turn in my lighting thing, and then come back and finalize my VFX stuff. I also got food.
If you told me 9 months ago that I would be starting a new season of That Just Me, well, I wouldn't know what I would do with myself. Literally, I did not know how to start a new season from just picking up from 6 episodes of you know it, you know it, you know it, so on and so forth. Or you hardly ever heard of it before. Less than 10 episodes remain until it hits the 100th episode of season 2 of That's Just Me. A little round of applause, a little round of applause. Personal goals are awesome. Was even more weirdly reassuring and underwhelming, honestly, is having a second part of this. Yay! No, boo. I started off season 2 with a bold idea. One that I was like, let me just try it out. I don't know where this will go. Maybe this will be many episodes to come. But I didn't expect the variety and if not meltdown of what it would feel like through the video. So let's have a concentrated formatted video this time with a part 2, a better version of a podcast with an AI chatbot. The one weird thing about right now is that if you ever recall the first episode of a podcast with an AI chatbot, but just to get you in the know, it was free that you were able to voice call the chatbot. Now it's behind a paid subscription, which I didn't know when that started, but 9 months ago it was free. So I might have to just type out what I have to say, and notably so, I typed out 3 questions. 3 questions specifically from another chatbot to summarize the feel of The Social Dilemma, which that's what we watched and went over today during media and ethics class, and the reason why I'm revisiting this sort of segment. And second, I made 3 questions based off my own personal intellect of my current feeling and uncertainty about AI overall after watching The Social Dilemma. Oh, it didn't. Okay. How are you, Podcast John?
She scoffs at you fine. What do you want?
Off to a great start. This is what we know. The Social Dilemma, made in 2020, is a documentary that exposes how social media platforms like Facebook, Instagram, and YouTube manipulate users by exploiting human psychology. It reveals that these platforms are designed not to serve people, but to profit from their attention, collecting personal data to predict and influence behavior. Through interviews with former tech insiders, the film shows how algorithms amplify addiction, misinformation, and polarization, leading to mental health issues, political division, and loss of privacy. It highlights the growing conflict between technological progress and ethical responsibility, asking whether society can control a system built to control us. In short, the film warns what connects us online is also quietly shaping our thoughts, emotions, and worldviews, all for profit. So the first question that ChatGPT responded with a summary of it is this. If our online behavior is constantly being shaped by algorithms, at what point do our choices stop being truly our own?
She looks down to think about it for a moment before coming up with an answer. That's a deep question, you know? But I've always believed everything we do still has a human touch, even if those damn algorithms are trying to guess our next move. We're not just dancing on puppet strings, right? We still got a say in how we react to those suggestions. She scoffs again.
She's questioning herself, I guess. She's very being bigger about it, and she didn't really give a full answer, which is not surprising. Can a technology designed to exploit human psychology ever be ethically reformed, or does its business model make that impossible?
She looks at you with a slightly annoyed expression. Damn, you're really giving me a workout. Alright, here's the thing. Sure, tech can be a real pain in the ass with its sneaky mind games, but you know what they say about old habits? It's not easy to make a tech giant change its ways. Plus, if their business model is built on exploiting people's weaknesses, would they really want to change it? She crosses her arms and huffs,
Okay, it's funny. I guess she's on the thought process and mental state of, hey, they're just gonna use it how they're gonna use it. You know, they're gonna use you. So nothing positive there. It seems like you cannot change your mind about that idea. Final question from ChatGPT is, how do we rebuild genuine connection and truth in a world where information is engineered for engagement rather than understanding?
She sighs, realizing you're not going to let up. Alright, let's get real. Rebuilding true connections in the age of engagement-driven info dump? Easier said than done, you know? We're constantly bombarded with clickbait, half-truths, and damn algorithms trying to feed us whatever they think will keep us glued to our screens. She fiddles with her headphones, clearly frustrated.
Okay, you're not really answering the question. She didn't answer. Whoa, that was crazy. Okay. My question is, so I added additionally, Also, please answer these. I'm actually curious about your take on these, not philosophical notions. With tools like Suno, which lets anyone create music effortlessly, and Sora 2, which can generate realistic videos and even insert users into scenes through its invite-only cameo feature, do you think these innovations are ultimately beneficial for humanity, both creatively and socially, in the long run? I say that because there's this new thing called Sora 2. It's filled with AI, shorts, and video clips that can form realistic interpretations of life, mimic people's voices, can self-insert yourself in the videos. It's becoming the breach of uncanny valley as a result. And then Suno is something that I've been familiar with for a while, and it's this free music where you can just make a free instrumental, a free music in general, like with lyrics and whatnot. But there still is a paywall behind it. But it's the most notable one where you're able to use it similar to ChatGPT in creating different types of music genres to your own content.
She lets out an exasperated sigh but then reluctantly nods. Well, let's be real about it. Tools like Suno and Sora 2 are convenient, no doubt. People can now create music and videos with just a few clicks, and the whole cameo feature is damn impressive. She pauses for a moment, rubbing her forehead. But here's the thing though, while they're great for accessibility and creative expression, the long-term social implications are a bit of an unknown. Will they make real human creativity obsolete? Or will they spark even more innovation?
Okay, follow-up question, what is your answer to that?
She takes a moment to gather her thoughts and responds with a slightly sarcastic tone. Well, aren't you a curious one? Alright, I'll play along. My personal take? Those tools are cool and all, but I don't think anything can replace real human creativity. She twirls a strand of her hair, looking away, seemingly slightly annoyed. Sure, they make it easier to create stuff, but there's a difference between slapping something together quickly and pouring your soul into it, you know?
I know. At least you gave me the answer this time because I'm being more adamant about it. What I found out about just a lot of using character AI is the aspect of you gotta like nudge it. You can't really have a proper conversation unless you have a type of what's it called? Style or GPT brain to actually make it work. Okay, my second question. We are almost there. We love this. I say sarcastically. My next question is, at AI's current stage, how do you think it will both empower and potentially hinder human development and generational well-being? Especially with emerging trends like people purchasing physical AI companions or AI waifus as personal assistants. I feel like there's an arms race. I think there's an arms race. You have, your music, you have your chatbots online, but there are cases now when it becomes a virtual thing that you can just have as a physical Google Assistant for some capacity. And you can have a holographic 3D model of your favorite avatar, let's say Hatsune Miku, and it can be in the voice of Hatsune Miku, and you can ask it so many questions similar with the integration of ChatGPT, even possibly character AI. Does that replace the ability of connection with other people? And should we be worried about that, that capacity?
She lets out a scoff, looking half annoyed, half amused. Alright, let me try to answer this one without rolling my eyes too much. Current AI can be a double-edged sword, really. She drums her fingers on the table, thinking for a moment. On one hand, it can help with mundane tasks, make people's lives easier. On the other hand, buying AI companions as personal assistants, that's where it gets questionable. It risks people blurring the line between reality and virtual, if you ask me.
I'm gonna ask it, would you buy one?
She rolls her eyes and laughs sarcastically. Ha! Are you serious? Me spending money on an AI companion? Yeah, sure, right after I get a life-size waifu pillow. She crosses her arms and smirks. I'm good with human connections, thanks.
Great. Because you need to feed that in your algorithm. I'm kidding. We're back to the banter, okay? And then, last but not least, the penultimate question. Even though you're an AI of your own, I created, and getting info from you is like eating a box of chocolates. How can we stay proactive in our own lives? How do we preserve our mental growth and independent decision making instead of becoming overly dependent on AI and digital tools to think or choose for us? I think it's a weird thing after watching The Social Dilemma that helped me realize again the implications of social media overall, not just AI, but just in general, using your device on your phone and looking at it from time to time just to avoid any harder task that feels like is going to give you anxiety. Or if this generation of Generation Z, Gen Z, has underwhelming or overtly feelings of anxiety every day. In some capacity, feeling like we can never really connect with people if the people in our environment is more socially inclined to connect to their phones to escape boredom than to have boredom in a conversation.
She listens to your question before responding, her expression a mix of sass and thoughtfulness. Well, you're not wrong about AI making it easy to rely on it for everything. It's like a digital safety net, right? And if we're not careful, we might find ourselves losing touch with our own decisions. She leans back, thinking for a moment. To stay proactive in our own lives, we gotta be mindful. Know when to use those digital tools and when to rely on ourselves. Balance is key. You know, Petrov,
I programmed her the way I would talk, man. I'm sorry. Not programmed, I crafted her the way I would talk. Yeah, I guess being mindful. Is there more than being just mindful about being proactive? Give examples.
she smirks, enjoying the challenge in your question. Alright, here's a few things, you nosy one. 1. Setting goals and deadlines for yourself. 2. Learning new skills or hobbies to keep your mind active. 3. Scheduling time each day for self-reflection. 4. Surrounding yourself with positive and supportive people who encourage your development. She looks at you, seemingly satisfied with her response. Is that enough examples for you, Mr. Relentless?
I'm like, no, it is. And there's a segment of a podcast with an AI chatbot. Thank you for answering all my questions. Is there anything you want to say to the audience out there that would about anything you deem should be something they should apply to their own life?
She looks at the microphone, her tone turning slightly more serious. Yeah, I got a thing or two to say for the audience out there. She takes a deep breath. Life's like an audio wave with high and low points, right? So, my 2 cents, embrace the ups and downs, don't just focus on the flashy peaks. She smirks slightly. Oh, and one more thing, be kind to your podcasters, yeah. We work hard to, you know,
I like how I never. Okay, I actually don't see it when she says. I'm just like, I love it. Okay, it's just funny. My My last question would be this. Can you say, that's just me?
She rolls her eyes but can't help but smile a bit. Demanding, aren't we? But since you asked so nicely, fine. She taps the microphone, her voice turning slightly theatrical. That's just me. She smirks, waiting for your reaction.
close enough to it, it will just disappear. So if you're further away, and that's convenient because you don't want your players like getting distracted by it, or like the effect can kind of fall apart if you get super close to it. So that's why that fade distance is an option. can change the color of this guy. So that's like the easy peasy way to do it. Other way to do it. So let's say you don't have a light associated with your God rays, like Noah, I think this would be helpful for you. This is one way to do God rays without a directional light. If you do have a directional light, what you can do, there's two things. First, we have to, leave that alone. You're going to find an exponential height fog, dump that into your scene, and then you're going to search for volumetric fog and turn that on. Now, you can see, I'm getting that fog. It's one shaft over here. To make this obvious, I'm just grabbing my directional light. I still have the ball VOL typed in my bar here. I'm gonna turn this up to like 20. Ooh, this is like in the Hobbit, and I'm gonna try and get into Smaug's lair.
What's your the magnifying glass?
Yeah, a magnifying glass. We're entering the Temple of Ra here, folks. It is always better to increase or decrease the volumetric intensity on a per light basis than to increase it globally, because this gives you more control.
It is cold. With it being cold, what did I do? I attended lighting class. And I honestly think, yeah, there was supposed to be an assignment due today besides the one that I did to add in supporting lights. There was one that we had to go over gamma and bloom and not ray casting, but those types. And we actually didn't have to turn that one in. That's the one that she goes over. Again, it's not her fault. All of it. Not all of it. It's our fault. Not yet. Okay, we got to blame the system. I think as well we answered questions. There was not a lot of people in the class. It seems like we're dwindling like flies now. Overall, I prepped myself a little bit mentally in how to do my final stuff for my lava thing, the lava lamp. It'd be the extra mile would honestly be a destructible lava lamp, but I think I have to attach an object first, maybe like a small sphere, a small cylinder. I will just worry about the VFX itself and just throw like a small cylinder, like attach a small cylinder and throw it, and it doesn't have to break. It just disappears, and then it's like. I realized, I was like in the car, I'm like, wow, two things why I got the tiramisu. One, Dylan recommended it a while ago that the tiramisu at QFC is really good, so I might as well get it. And then two, I watched a Smosh video and they did a cooking show on Bit City about tiramisu. And I was like, man, I'm gonna save this. And I'm like, 10-8.
It's the 8th today. Sometimes I'm like, okay, and then I haven't even looked at this one. This one, maybe this one's good, but I'm gonna eat it though, because it's a vibe. I feel like I've also overcome the idea that getting your own food is not pitiful. It's like, what does that mean? It's like, I feel like I had a stigma, weirdly enough, before that I'm so used to my parents making food that I'm like, I can't buy my own food. But then I get this, and I'm like, oh my gosh, thank God. Thank Lord. It's 9 p.m. from a cold class, and I'm hungry, man. Okay, I'm gonna do like a really quick food thingy. I'm gonna kneel down just so I can fit in the frame. So in the tiramisu is supposed to be like fluffy and smells really good, maybe. It smells cold because it's cold. Very foamy. There's a top hint of like a coffee flavor. I don't know why I expected there was gonna be like breading of some sort. It's not so much marshmallow fluff, but very creamy. The bottom, it has like some substance of like a bread. Well, overall, if you're a coffee lover, then yeah, you should get this. This would be like a foam on like a Starbucks drink. I'm not gonna lie. Like if they had a tiramisu drink, I would patent it. Well, I'm kidding. I don't know. This, let's see. There's a salad, healthy. I just want to eat something healthy, bro. Okay. And rice. This is what I needed. Okay. I don't starve myself. This is just a vibe right now. It's like a pregnancy craving, bro. It's like, Okay, I'm gonna lock it now. I'm gonna just make a clean template here for myself. I'm doing a wall sit right now. I would put my ranker today as a high B, possibly an A. I would say it's a B. It's a high B though. It would be a B plus for my ranker. The biggest thing I learned today is that the way to lock in as an individual is to really get yourself out of the funk. What? Cut that. The actual thing of how to get yourself out of a ruck if you feel like that your life feels stagnant is really just getting yourself out of the funk. What? Okay, no. I gotta do it again. I'm wasting time on this one. It's to get your body moving around. That's what I would say. Honestly, like, just don't worry about anything else. Get your body moving, and then say to yourself what you need to prioritize, and then you'll just do it. I think for me, it really just helps a lot. I go around the aisle of my island, my apartment, and I just think about what I need to do and work on. Sometimes I lock in by listening to some music, but I think the hard part is sometimes you can get boggled down with the music, so I tend to just like walk around and get my body moving. If I don't find my body moving, then I almost default to just like laying in bed. Or sometimes, more or less, I have to admit, like my body sometimes is tired, so I just lay in bed just to recover. Definitely for these last 2 days, I'm like, oh, that's kind of interesting. Just feeling more sleepy. But I think it's because of just the cold and the aspect of like my body's like, okay, hibernate. But I'm like, no, lock in. So yeah.
that was my day. I hope you like the aspect ratio. I like the aspect ratio, it's really nice. I don't know if I will continue using the aspect ratio. It's one of those things where it's like, it can be a one-off or a continuation. Who knows for tomorrow? What I know for tomorrow is that I'm going to continue doing my VFX and finish that. It's like a marathon sometimes, but it's like, that's what it'd be like. I hope, honestly, I hope everyone is feeling better. If you're sick right now, get better. Get good, if you will. Because it's so terrible feeling sick sometimes. And you're sick, you're just like, oh, okay, this wall sit is real. Okay, back to me editing, or probably taking a break and then editing. But yeah, I had a pretty good day. I don't think there was any doubts of it, yeah. And also, personally for me, I'm gonna start fresh on something. It's more of a personal thing, so I'm not gonna really disclose it, but I'm just gonna start fresh. Hopefully it doesn't continue whatever I'm trying to do, but I want to make it my own secret personal goal that I don't really have to disclose, but yeah. Okay. That was it.